Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for checking in again. And the news as of this past month is Amazon is no longer number one. Amazon had about the shortest reign for the record Lee County land sale that you could imagine. Amazon purchased land in November for a new distribution facility for $66.5 million. And that broke a record that had stood since 2015 when GL Homes purchased acreage off of Bonita Beach Road for $56 million. Now you would think when you break the record land sale by more than $10 million, you would at least get to hold on to that record for a little while. They got to hold it for less than a month because there's a new king, and it is a $100 million land deal for acreage on the northern edge of Cape Coral that closed in December when Four Star purchased a significant chunk of land for future development of over 1,300 homes and hundreds of thousands of square feet of commercial. In November, Amazon paid $66.5 million for 143 acres in the northeast quadrant of I-75 and State Road 82, Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard in Fort Myers. This is the area that's just directly north of the Forum, and Amazon's plans are to build roughly 750,000 square foot new distribution facility. What Amazon is saying is that it will create over 750 full and part-time jobs that are at $16 an hour and up, so decent employment base. And from that location, what they'll be able to do is service the areas of Southwest Florida that are continuing to expand. Now, obviously, if you're familiar with the area, the news just a couple of years ago was the two new enormous distribution facilities that Amazon put up on Alico Road. They have already used the capacity of that space. That's how quickly Amazon obviously has continued to grow, but more importantly, how quickly Southwest Florida has continued to grow and their need to distribute has expanded here. The area where they purchased, it's really interesting because they didn't use any of the frontage component of that area of land north of State Road 82. So the most valuable portion of that vacant land, the frontage piece, is still available for commercial outparcels. So the seller is still in a position to make use of the outparcels. They've monetized 143 acres of the rear portion of the land, and they've got a great anchor in place then with Amazon. What's interesting about the land that they purchased, that northeast quadrant of 75 and State Road 82, it's really unique to have a piece of land that proximate to population centers that's still vacant. Land like that in an area as large as Southwest Florida and Lee County have already become, land like that you just don't come across. So for Amazon to be able to have that site, which gives them immediate access to I-75 through State Road 82, they've got direct access out to Lehigh Acres. It's proximate also to quick access from 75 to RSW. They've got all of the linkages necessary to do the distribution work that they'll do from that facility. And they're in really close proximity to rooftops that are continuing to obviously grow further east, but south, and now with North Fort Myers continuing to grow and continued growth up into Charlotte County, you've got really good access from that site as well. So it's the perfect location for Amazon to place a distribution facility. It's a win for the seller because they've monetized the non-frontage portion of the land and yet keep their commercial outparcels in place. It'll be really interesting to see other users that now look at that piece of land, the areas that are left remaining around it, and now want to go ahead and get their piece of the pie, knowing what all is coming there. And it's not as if Amazon was the first to make a move in that area. That specific stretch of Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard and State Road 82 on either side of I-75 has exploded with growth in recent years. There's actually a lot of nonprofit users who are building facilities in that corridor. But you've also got Suncoast Beverage and their massive facility that they are putting up that is west of I-75. All of Alessio and their development that's in the Caddy Corner area of Amazon now, the southwest corner of 75 and Martin Luther King. So there's a lot of energy there, continued growth in the Forum. That's an area of Southwest Florida that really hadn't developed significantly and even was in certain respects skipped in the mid-2000s booms. There was some development, but other areas of the county, when you look comparatively at Alico Road and what all's happened, we've been seeing for 10 years the exploding growth through there. But now users have found this corridor, and in the case of Amazon, they found it at a record-setting price. And for all the accolades just piled onto Amazon and how excited I am about the transaction that they took down that was record-setting, that's good enough to give them now second place in Lee County, because we have a new record-setting land sale that closed in December. It was Four Star Group's purchase of 1,745 acres on the northern edge of Cape Coral for $100 million. The property will accommodate 3,500 homes in the future, hundreds of thousands of square feet of commercial. It's got all kinds of uses for assisted living, actually a student research and university component. There's a lot of things that are permissible on this land moving forward. But the 3,500 homes that could eventually be built is the portion of the property's rights that actually drove the sale. That's really what Four Star is after in acquiring that property. If you look at the $100 million price, just on the basis of potentially 3,500 homes, it comes out to $28,600 per unit. And then you've got the other potential commercial pieces that are almost kind of bonus on top of that. As far as raw land selling, that's a reasonable price to acquire that many home sites. What's super unique though is the scale for that many home sites. Most communities in Southwest Florida are between, say, 200 and 400 homes. That's usually in the ballpark of a sweet spot. So we're talking a project that is orders of magnitude larger in scale. Really, the better example of what this property will eventually be is something more like the Gateway area in Fort Myers. Another example could be something like Verdana down in Estero off Corkscrew Road. That's eventually going to be around 2,700 homes. So that even falls short of what this property has. Really, the closest example of a development that has that many units of density in place and already exists here is Bonita Bay. Bonita Bay, between its single-family homes and a significant number of condo units, has around 3,300 units of density. So hopefully that gives you a sense of how massive the scale is of this property. The entitlements are in place to develop. It's got a lot of the permitting already secured. So the buyer's motivation in being able to acquire property like this is essentially to be able to bank a lot of units. They will likely now work with developers that were more familiar with their names and give them certain sections of land within the community to develop. You can almost guarantee that the first builder that will be named will be D.R. Horton. Four Star is affiliated with D.R. Horton, and in previous projects around the country that they've purchased in recent years, D.R. Horton has always been in the first announcement as far as getting a certain set of lots, to build their homes. So we can expect D.R. Horton will be involved. But the other thing that we can expect, and this is why I brought up the Gateway example, is that there won't be really a single type of home. Again, Gateway is the good example of that. You've got more traditional tract home communities that are moderately priced, and you've got some more estate home neighborhoods. You've got commercial uses in Gateway. It's meant, to the extent possible, to be self-contained. That's what this property in Cape Coral has the scale of. And it's designed in a way that it'll be able to be, for the most part, self-contained. So it's an exciting transaction. It's a landmark for Southwest Florida. Poor Amazon couldn't hold on to their record for more than a month. Their $66.5 million deal was immediately followed up by somebody saying, okay, I'll raise you to 100. And Forestar's entry into Southwest Florida with that transaction is a significant step forward for Southwest Florida. So with the news of two recent record-setting land sales, $66.5 million in November and $100 million in December, that kind of begs the question, what are the top 5 land sales in the history of Lee County? Glad you asked. So, as we've already talked about, Forestar's purchase for $100 million, 1,745 acres in Cape Coral, is the new number 1 sale in the history of Lee County. Now at number 2 is Amazon with their 143 acre purchase off of State Road 82 around I-75 for $66.5 million. Now at number 3, you've got to go back to 2015, and it's GL Homes' acquisition of 347 acres on the south side of Bonita Beach Road for what eventually became their Valencia Bonita community. There's a tie for number 4, so those are kind of number 4 and number 5, but it's $52.5 million. One sale is from 2018, the other is 2019. The 2018 sale is when Fawcett Memorial purchased property around Williams Road and US 41 in Estero for what at that time was announced as a future potential hospital expansion. The other $52.5 million sale is a combined acquisition by Camerata Properties for land in Estero on the south side of Corkscrew Road for what would eventually become Verdana Village. And then at number 6 is another sale that's semi-recent from September of 2023. It was actually a sale that we had involvement in being able to help the seller and represent them on. And it was the sale of the Red Coconut on Fort Myers Beach in the aftermath of Hurricane Ian. It was $52 million. We just got bumped from the top 5 list, that sale, with the new $100 million sale. But it's really exciting to see these land transactions in Southwest Florida. Lots of people banking on the growth here, and now you know the top 5. Thank you for tuning in, for hearing how Amazon has been dethroned in Southwest Florida in the land wars. If you found value in this video, please subscribe, like the video, share it with a friend if it was valuable to you. And if you have any questions or comments, please add them in the comments section below.